Today we have on our show Sahithi Divi, founder of Impact Scientists, founder of Impact Scientists. We'll talk more about it. She started the business in 2019, selected as youth parliamentarian for Yuva Galam, Even Charcha. Speaker, digital disclosure on tackling emotional and psychological stress by pandemic and its effect on roles played by women. National brand ambassador, SDGs, CIM, SME, ICT, MAE. Born on August 15, 2019, that's when you started your business, I believe. Impact Scientists aims to reduce the gender gap through achieving gender equality. Impact Scientists is a rural innovation influencing platform on a mission to economically empower women leaders at the bottom of the pyramid using offline, on-site consulting channels and collaboration channels. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Sid.
Awesome. Sahithi, I've read a lot of content what you've published on LinkedIn. Just so well written and so powerful stories. I really love them, all right? And I wanted to make sure that our audience is able to really follow through this, read this, and have some powerful nuggets which they can take away. So the story, what you have in our pre-call, what we discussed, coming from a very small city, a very small town or village, you've been able to start up a business, a purposeful and a meaningful business, which is creating about social impact. I'd love to start this conversation with a quick introduction about yourself. Why don't you go ahead and tell the audience where you're from, where you studied, and how you chose this career. So let's start the conversation with where you're from.
So Sid, once again, thanks a lot for having me. My name is Sahithi. I'm a co-founder impactscientist.com, which is a rural innovation platform. I'm born in Eluru of West Godavari district in Andhra Pradesh. And my education went up from Bhopal to Chirala to Hyderabad. And then I went, did my master's of social entrepreneurship in San Francisco. And finally, we made a decision, me and my husband, we made a decision to relocate completely to a village. And it's called Malkipuram, which is located in East Godavari. And it is located right 1 kilometer away from India's first smart village called Mori. So as
Mori.
Impact Scientist,
okay.
Yeah, Mori. And as Impact Scientists, we are trying to partner with the weavers, procure fabric directly from them and provide a sustainable market solution to the weavers.
Fantastic, fantastic. So let's talk a little bit about your journey growing up as a kid, all right? And I want to see what are some of the commonalities which entrepreneurs have specifically when they're growing up, all right? So what kind of school did you go to?
In
Talk a little bit about the schools and colleges, yeah.
In Bhopal, I went to Delhi Public School, and that is when we were exposed to, like we had the botany classes in the garden. We had English classes happening in the language lab. And we had activity period. We learned cooking in the school. We had horse riding, swimming. So I had a lot of, I had an opportunity to kind of pursue sports on a serious level. And I got an opportunity to skate over there. So Delhi Public School was a beautiful mix of, I being a South Indian, living in North India, participating in sports and representing Madhya Pradesh. So all that was really nice. And I was there up till my 9th grade. And I came back to Hyderabad for my +1, +2. And went back to Chirala, actually, which is, again, a very two-tiered town in Prakasham district. It is close to Andhra's new capital, Amravati, Guntur. And I stayed there with my grandparents. And although I went there to study B.Pharm, bachelor's in pharmacy, I used to be more on the ground doing medical camps for the fishermen and, a lot of groundwork, waste management, village level, you know, talking to the village level women. And so things like that, you know, living there gave me a lot of exposure to cottage industries as well, because Chirala has, again,
Right.
cashew industry, handloom industry, you know. So that was,
Wow.
again, a mix of bachelors of pharma and living in a coastal town, and also having a
Right.
lot of ground experience. And I came back to Hyderabad, worked with my father on his startup idea called Gen Y, which is a skill bridging company. So which basically education and employment have a certain level of gap in India, especially when you look at the tier 2
Yeah.
students. So worked with him on that project, but at one point I felt the need of equipping myself you know, more with a master's degree in management, because I wanted to know how to create an
Right.
organization. But I was
Yeah.
also attracted to the development sector. At the same time, I did not want to go non-profit. So I had I had
Wow.
known a few things by then in my head. So I think I took my master's very seriously and started searching for social entrepreneurship masters, executive masters, you know, the one which would be 1 year and which would also give me an international
Right.
experience. So that's how I found, you know, Hult International Business School in San Francisco, and
Yeah.
found, you know, there were 60 students in our class with, you know,
Yeah.
students from 30 different countries. And all of us were
Yeah.
there to study social entrepreneurship. So we kind of, you know, looked at gender equality with 30 lens, sanitation with 30
Right.
lens,
Yeah.
environment, or, you know, like renewable energy with 30 different lens. So we worked in cross projects, you know, with different countries. So San Francisco was beautiful. And immediately after my
Fantastic.
graduation in my master's, I came back to India, and I was very
Yeah.
confused because I liked it there in the United States because it's very, at least it's formal. And I mean, everything has a
Yeah.
system, it's systematic. And there's something called B Corps. There are policies in
Yeah.
place for B Corps in the United States. So I needed some time off to kind of, you know, self-discover, travel, and unwind all my learnings. So I took up a volunteering project. So it's a mix of tourism and volunteering together. It's a UNDP project.
Very nice. That's the first time I've heard of this word. Okay, volunteering.
Yeah,
Very nice.
that's
Please
a
go ahead.
beautiful concept, you know, like, so even for the volunteering concept for the project, we
Yeah.
had people from China, we had people from Germany, and many other European countries, and a couple of Indians and the local Sri Lankan people. I went to Sri Lanka to stay there for 2 months. And so we used to basically go from one village to another village and meet a group of students or group of women, and um, teach them about what is gender equality, what is sex education, and what can you know, equality bring to economy, and what are the interventions they can do from home, and what can educate, like, you know, how can skill be used. So these kind of things we used to tell them. And I
Awesome.
returned to India, and I joined
Yeah,
Chezuba.
please go ahead. Yeah.
I
You
returned to
joined,
India. Chezuba.
okay.
So Chezuba
Chizuba,
means,
correct?
yeah, Chezuba means thank you in Burmese.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah. So the
Okay.
founders, there are three founders for the company I used to work in. So they were on a volunteering project, and they got this idea in Myanmar, and of
Yeah.
Chezuba, of starting Chezuba. So they started Chezuba. Uh, and I was working as head of partnerships there. And I worked for
This is based out of India, correct?
yes, this is based out of Hyderabad.
Awesome. All right. Fantastic. I'm just having some powerful learning moments out of this conversation. I've never heard of this word, Chizuba. I love these kind of words where in different languages where it has different meanings. Chizuba means thank you in Burmese. Awesome. All right.
Yes.
And volunteering. That's another powerful learning moment for me. So please continue the conversation. I'd love to hear more of this.
Sure. So I joined as head of partnerships at Chizuba, and so Chizuba is an online volunteering company. So it is completely
Okay.
virtual and like, volunteering projects like writing content, doing proposals, whatever could be
Yeah.
facilitated for an NGO online. So an NGO
Oh,
would reach
interesting.
out to Chezuba, and Chezuba would have online volunteers in place, around say
Okay.
80,000 online volunteers. So
Wow.
after subscribing to Chezuba, they can put up projects like, we need a digital marketing guy, or we need a content writer, or we need a marketer.
Hmm.
So Chezuba will be
Yeah.
matching the project to the right volunteer, and the volunteer will get connected to the NGO. So like this,
Wow.
Chezuba has been working with more than 1,000 NGOs across more than 30 countries.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Excellent.
and there was a lot of use of the word impact, because we were creating an
Hmm.
impact for, people to, be able to stay at home and volunteer. At the same time, we are making diverse volunteers available for so many NGOs. But then
Yeah.
there were few NGOs whom I would be really get connected to, and I would want to, make a deeper
So
impact.
were you working as a part? I had a question. Were you working as a part of the Chizuba internal team, or were you working as a volunteer for them?
No, I was the head of
Where you were doing the
partnerships.
matchmaking? Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
head
was
of
the head
partnerships.
of
Awesome. All right.
partnerships.
Okay.
So I was involved
Very
in
nice. Okay.
corporate partnerships and bringing in government partnerships, and how could we talk to the corporates and bring, employee volunteering, those kind of things I used
Yeah.
to handle at Chizuba. I joined as a business executive and got promoted as head of partnerships there.
Very nice. Awesome. All right.
Yeah.
And so right after, so you worked for Chizuba for how long?
I worked for 1 year. So I joined when it was a 5 members team.
Okay.
And
Hmm.
now it's actually under Forbes, under 30 Forbes Asia 2020.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes, yes. Yes.
My
So
God.
although
And
I
so
quit
they're
the
doing
company,
so very well.
yes, they're
Yeah.
doing pretty well. And we have a beautiful relation. We are all great friends. And, I left on a beautiful note, and they're all in touch. And
Oh, what an amazing story. Wow. Okay.
in fact, one
Please
of the
continue.
impact
Yeah.
hour stories which I wrote was about Chizupa. While I was, because one of
Really?
the founder is a woman, and she's from Slovakia. There are two Indian founders and one Slovakian girl.
Wow. And they're all based out of India, is it?
Yes, they're all
Or
based out of
Chizuba is
India.
like they're all based out of India. And where is this
Yes.
organization based out of India? Are they based out
Hyderabad.
of, which city is it?
Hyderabad.
Hyderabad.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Fantastic. All right, please go ahead. So why did you decide to quit Chizuba?
Because there were few NGOs that I would be really get interested to. And then I thought that, okay, I am really interested to create deeper impact. And so
Okay.
there was somebody else who joined as a corporate partnerships head. And that is how I could move on. For 3 months, I worked as a consultant for partnerships for Chizuba. And finally, I thought that, it is gender equality that I want to create an impact in. But I don't know what to do
Yeah.
about it, or I don't know how to derive the solution to gender equality. I just know that gender equality is important. And there is a McKinsey
Yeah.
report which says that $770 billion can be unlocked by Indian economy if women participate in the economy by 2025.
Wow.
So actually, I would
Wow.
say that
Okay.
that particular McKinsey report, when I read it, then I knew that, okay, out of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, I'm going for the
Yeah.
fifth one. And India needs, there's a lot of scope for working towards gender equality in India. And it's possible if we are consistent and if we
Yeah.
really stick to it. I think it's possible. So I started writing about, and then I became a blogger, I had some savings from
Awesome.
my job, and so
Yeah.
I got this website. I decided the name to be Impact Scientist because I was still, searching for how to create impact. And I think I'll always be searching for that. I'm never satisfied with, I'm satisfied with what I do, but I'm always searching
Yeah.
for more, because there's so much to do. So
Quest. Yeah.
Yeah. So the quest is equal to the word scientist, and impact is my favorite word. So that is why, I named
Fantastic.
it impact scientist.
Ah, so powerful. Yeah, I absolutely, I love the idea when you said a scientist is a person who is always in quest for, or
Yes.
seeking an insatiable quest, what they have,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So,
And it's
so
not
you're
just
having this
somebody,
yeah?
sorry, go ahead.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead, please.
It's not just somebody who's standing in the lab and doing the chemical experiments. It could be an astro scientist who's just looking at the sky for decades. So a scientist could be anybody. So I wanted to be scientist for impact.
Awesome. All right.